Good evening, everyone, and welcome all. Special tasting tonight for you from Mackmyra. I'm Gareth Bell, UK brand ambassador for Mackmyra. On my right or left, I think it's right, Micky, also brand. How you doing, Micky?
I'm very good, G. How are you, my man?
I'm good, and joined tonight by Phil. Phil, how's it going down in the restaurant there? New Union, it's all going.
Yeah, it's going really well, Gareth. We're doing really well down here tonight. It's been a busy start to and to the end of lockdown. We've had a good evening up to now, and now what to make it more better than a whiskey this evening?
Exactly. Well, we three are your hosts tonight, but it's not just about the hosts; it's about the guests as well, isn't it, Micky?
It certainly is, guys. So while we are your hosts, and we'll prod certain things at you, we need feedback from you guys as well. Okay, so drop your comments in. They'll get flashed up on the screen. Ask any questions, make any comments, especially when we're talking about the whiskies. There's no such thing as a stupid question, guys. Evening, Dave. See, exactly like that, guys. Yeah, drop your comments in. We'll respond to them as and when we can, and especially with the questions. And our guys in the background will flash them up when required.
Excellent. That's really good stuff. So I'm glad you could join us as our special guest tonight, Phil. Tell us a little bit about your own journey into single malt whiskey and how the New Union thing whiskey club kind of took off.
So my journey from whiskey was when I was about 16, believe it or not. I'm going to point out now that we don't promote drinking until you're 18 years of age. So we'll get that bit out of the way, and that's the legal side done. So that was when I visited a distillery in Scotland that most of you probably know. That I did a tasting with them last week, which we're going to unname tonight. But yeah, that was.
We're all friends.
Well,
we
that
don't
was
mind.
the team from Glengoyne. That was the first distillery. And
nice
then
guys.
When I got into 21, 22, I started exploring into the malt whiskey, going up to Edinburgh, going to places. And then came about you guys a couple of years ago, which we included in our whiskey tasting at the pub. So the pub opened in 2017. We opened with about 10 whiskies from here, there and everywhere, and we've ended up now with nearly the best part of 40. There's only a couple out on tonight, just because of the facilities that we're on at the moment and everything. But yeah, that was my journey into whiskey, and of course the whiskey club tends to meet every month and have a tasting during winter. But unfortunately, at the moment, due to COVID-19 and the Tier 2 restrictions, we can't do it in the pub tonight. But we've gone one better. So we've been able to welcome you guys online. Great to have so many people, and great to see regulars and everything. Regulars and everyone commenting online.
It looks like they're going to be a lively crowd tonight, I think.
Oh, they are. They were very lively last week when we were on the other tasting.
Well, let's not keep them waiting.
Martin is just sat waiting for his dessert just over there. Who's commenting?
Hi, Martin.
So, but yeah, everybody, hello. Thanks very much. I'm going to disappear in a few minutes and leave you in some really capable hands. And then I'm going to come back in a bit. I'm going to go and do some work and help out and get some work done. And then I'm going to come back in a little bit and join the rest of the guys. So we got to and enjoy.
Thanks for that, Phil. Really appreciate the invite and the opportunity to talk to your guys and taste some stuff. So, Micky, let's lay it on the table. What have we got for them tonight?
So, guys, tonight we're going to take you through our pack of 4 for our core range. So that would be Brooks, Mac, Svensk Jek, and Svensk Ruk. We'll tell you what they mean and everything like that as well as we go through them. Plus our latest seasonal release in Jaktlycka. So and finally, me and Gareth and Phil, hopefully as well, if he joins us back in time, we'll talk you through a tasting of a single cask that we're lucky enough to have. But guys, I need you all to do me a favor first. I need you to pour your first dram, which we're going to be Brooks whiskey. But only pour half of it, and then go and pop the other half in the freezer. So we'll give you a wee 30 to 40 seconds to go and do that before we start into it, guys. Okay. So if you all drop off and go and do that, if you want to, that is. It's just a little experiment that I like to do with Brooks, and you'll get to know why as we move through, and we'll come to it before we get to the last dram. It's all about mouthfeel and how coldness and things like that can change. It's a wee science experiment while we're doing a whiskey tasting, which is quite nice. I think it's quite nice anyway.
It's a good experiment. I'm looking forward to it. But you've got something in your glass already. So Mackmyra, who are we? What are we? Very briefly, we started around 1999. A few guys gone on skiing holiday. They said, why isn't there a Swedish whiskey? So they decided to set it all up. But rather than just talk, what we're going to do is we're going to mix some of the story in with the whiskies. So as I said, it all started in 1999, and we opened a distillery. But with the Brooks whiskey, we're going to start off. Mick's going to tell you some more of that story, and then I'm going to pick it up on the next one. So, Mick, over to you, and let's start on the Brooks whiskey.
Yeah, sure. So, Brooks whiskey, guys. Okay, really great dram. Really fresh. So, a lot of people say it's like our breakfast whiskey, basically. It's 41.4%, comes in a 70 cl or 700 ml bottle. The bottles themselves in the full bottle, as Gareth showing you there, it's got quite the Mackmyra story on it. So it's got our original distillery, which we're going to talk about. It's got our Gravity distillery, which we're going to talk about. It used to have a picture of a skier on it, but because of Swedish law, we had to take the skier off because we're not allowed to put alcohol with sports stuff, which is just nuts, quite frankly. But there's a lot of complicated laws in Sweden. But that's by the by. So from the outset, Mackmyra was fully focused on creating a whiskey, which was quintessentially Swedish. The journey began with local barley, spring water, obviously, and Swedish oak. Then, thanks to a lucky coincidence, Mackmyra developed a 30-litre cask. In its smallest format at 30 litres, it allows the whiskey to mature more intensively, so the liquid gets more wood contact, basically. So our first proper distillery was at Mackmyra Bruk, which is roughly about an hour north of Stockholm and 12 kilometers west of Gävle. Mackmyra, so we can break that down into two. Mack, meaning midge or small insect, and Myra, meaning swamp, basically, or mire, swamp, that sort of thing. So basically, Mackmyra does sound quite Scottish. People go, oh, you just repeat, it's an actual proper place name in Sweden. So Mackmyra means midge swamp, which does quite relate well to the west coast of Scotland.
Yeah, midge heaven.
Yeah, and so we're drinking Mackmyra Bruk. Bruk means industrial or useful. There's quite a big handful of names for the translation of Bruk, but basically in the broader spectrum it means industrial or useful. Which is quite apt, really, because we moved into a building that was previously a mill and a power station as well. And our pot stills actually come from Scotland, from Forsyths. So anybody that's into proper geeky stuff know that Forsyths probably provide the Scotch whisky industry with probably about 85% of their stills. But in 2010, Brooks actually became our second core product after the first edition. First edition then later evolved to become Svensk Jek, which we'll cover in a little bit. So we've had a little first bit of history there, guys. We've had a chance to get our nose in. Hopefully, we've had a wee taste. You don't need our invitation to start drinking your whiskies, by the way.
I'm waiting for some comments for guys about what they think about the smell and the feedback. Come on, guys, tell us what you think. I mean, you know, this is one of our core range, and it's been around for a long time for good reasons, because it's oodles of fruit in there. It's got that classic Mackmyra kind of pear and an appley flavour that goes on both on the nose and I think on the mouth as well. Come on, give us some feedback. What do you think about this thing? It's not too strong, 41.4, easy entry. Get into it and let us know.
So people are going to wonder why 41.4, Gareth, because it is quite a strange ABV. So obviously we wanted to keep it as close to 40 as possible for tax reasons, and it allows the liquid to actually get out to more and more people. So obviously the cheaper it is, the more accessible it is, basically. But it didn't quite work at 40%. It just didn't have that certain je ne sais quoi. So they kept trying it at different ABVs, and eventually they settled on 40, or Angela settled on 41.4. Which, you know, as much as anything, it tastes great in the glass. I don't think it needs any water. But it's also a great talking point. You know what I mean? It does tend to kick up more questions than anything else, Gareth, doesn't it, really? Nice and smooth, very much a breakfast whiskey. Nice one, Jason. Yeah. That gets brought up a lot.
And what this really shows, and this is quintessentially what Mackmyra is all about. We're a recipe-based company. We don't just stick stuff in barrels and then release it after a certain amount of time. All of these different types of whiskies are stored in different barrels, different types of whiskies, and effectively they become a great big cupboard of potential ingredients, which our master or chief nose officer, as we call her, Angela Dorizio, who's been with us since almost the start, she'll take these ingredients and bring them together into a recipe. So the recipe is actually quite complex for this one, Micky, isn't it? It's been around for quite a while, but it's what I like about it, it's just got a little bit of pepper on it, which I think is coming from the Swedish oak that's barrels that are in there.
Yes.
Just to give it that little bit of hint. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. I could read the recipe off. It's quite long. 200-litre barrels bourbon, 100 litres Swedish oak, 100 litres sherry casks, and 200 litres ex-bourbon casks. I mean, that recipe's been going a long time, and it's been very successful.
There's a lot of first fill stuff in there as well. So you get those bigger, punchier flavors going on. And obviously, with the relatively small size, apart from the 200s, which is probably industry standard, they're actually called ASBs, American Standard Barrels, 200 litres.
Yeah.
So the 100 stuff, it just promotes that more interaction with the wood, increasing that maturation speed, basically. And obviously, you know, we stored this down the Bodus mine, where the ABV drops faster than we actually get rid of the liquid because of the humidity. So we actually lose more ABV than we do losing liquid. So we always get pretty full casks, pretty full juicy casks, but our ABV drops that little bit faster. But obviously this was taken down to a bottling strength of 41.4 anyway. Yeah.
It's not that we don't talk about age. We're quite open about what goes into them, and this has got like 7-year-old liquid inside it. Inside, so this isn't like, you know, brand new stuff. And I think you'll agree that on the taste, this isn't raw and coarse. Nothing we do is raw and coarse. In fact, straight off the still, it's really drinkable. We do a white spirit straight off the still called Vithund, white dog in America, and very drinkable and has those core flavors in it, just not been matured in any wood. So the actual core of what would come out of our distillation process is imminently fruity and very good. So I hope guys are enjoying this one. I'm thinking we're near towards the end of that.
No, that's fine, Nix. We're just on Brooks at the moment, which is our first one. So if you've literally just joined us, pour half in your glass and pop half in the freezer. Okay.
Just on the Brooks whiskey at the moment. Sorry if I dropped out a little bit there. I've got a bit of a dodgy internet connection tonight. I'll be bouncing around like a flea. Okay, marvelous. Okay, so let's move on then. I'm just going to quaff this off, and then we'll move on to the next one. So put this one down. The next one we're going to do is the one called Mac, Big Mac. Not the Eck, that was the Mac that popped up there. There we go, and that's this is a big bold thing, isn't it? I mean, it was designed for the Swedish market and as Micky mentioned, pretty locked down in Sweden. It's one of those countries that's got a government-led alcohol, monopoly thing, and they control pretty much everything. So they wanted a whiskey that would look good on the back shelves. It's got a good speed bottle over there, and the big words Mac are going to stand out on there. But it really captures the quintessential flavors of what the distillery is all about. And this was the first distillation, or the first product, if you like, that came out of our new distillery that we built. Now, the new distillery was just a long time in the planning, because it's such an economic and ergonomic designed distillery. It's called the Gravity Distillery, and there it is. So we took a distillery and we turned it on its head. So everything goes from the top down to the bottom. We started that in 2009, and it came online in about 2011. Now, the old distillery was mothballed for a while, but we brought that back up, and for the last few years, it's been producing our gins. So we do 1 or 2 really nice gins as well. If you want to check them out, that's something to do. But yeah, this is where it all starts, at that distillation and the Gravity Distillery. We get there's a couple of huge big silos at the back where all the malted barley goes. Some of it smoked and some of it unsmoked, and then it starts its journey. I think we've got a little picture of or a bit of video of it actually going up into the top there. There it is. Look, there's like a continuous conveyor belt going there, and up it goes to the top. And that's where the whole process, the gristling, the mashing, the fermentation, all goes on up there. And it is gradually fed down level after level. And, it reuses all of its heat, and it's very well designed in terms of its carbon neutrality. And what happens, it comes down, and then obviously it goes into the stills and starts the distillations. And am I still here?
Yeah, you're just about. We just had a bit of ping pong there, Gareth. So I think we might need to recap.
A bit of ping pong. Okay.
We had a few issues there. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Well, it's come down and it's in distillation, and then right in the middle of the distillation, that's where the secret of actually getting that spirit out starts. The spirit is very. It's a matter of skill, expertise to know when to get the heart of the spirit, the cut, and there he is. That's Jimmy, actually. It's his job to decide when he's going to switch over to one side to the other to capture the heart of that liquid. And we end up with about 800 liters at 70% ABV. We'll water it down a little bit and put it in the barrels, apart from the stuff that we bottle as Vittund, of course, which we water down and put it straight into the bottles. So I hope you got this one in your glass. And then we can have a little. I think this is even maybe a little bit more fruity. It's got a lower ABV than the last one. It's 40 ABV. So, but I think that allows more of the flavors to come out. But essentially, what do you guys think? What are you getting on the nose, and what are you getting on the flavor there?
Nice. I see a lot of people are actually up here in Scotland as well. So we've had someone from Stirling. We've had somebody from Dunblane. Hi guys, I'm just from Glasgow, so it's easy for me to get out and about to you. Well, once we come out of level 4 lockdown, that is. But drop us in the comments, guys. What are you thinking of the Mac by Mackmyra? Like Gareth said at the beginning, we'll do a quick recap. It was designed for the back bar. Basically, the big bold logo stands out. It is chill filtered and it is color corrected. Okay. But that just means it's going to look the same in any bar you go to across the world. That's the only thing that means, guys. Okay, 40% ABV, so it's accessible. It's not gonna knock your socks off in that literal sense. And it's just really good for making into cocktails and things like that as well. I find the Mac with sparkling apple juice or sparkling pear juice. And just a wee wedge of pear or a wee wedge of apple, depending on which one you've used. Just over in a nice highball over ice, Gareth. Nice, refreshing, beautiful summer drink. That
it's very mixable, and Helen, I think, got it spot on, and she said, we've got pear drops in there, elderflower as well. Good call out by Helen, by Neil there. There's all those kind of like sweet essency flavors going on there, which why it makes a great base as a cocktail, as a whiskey cocktail, because those flavors really help bring out the flavor of the whiskey. It doesn't hide it or mask it. That is the flavor of the whiskey. So it's very versatile. This, it sits there, and you can put it in your glass. You can put water in if you like. Opens up even more, but as a base of a cocktail, as Micky said, some of the drinks that he puts together regularly, it's a great base to start. It's fantastic. Flowery and sweet says. Is that ICS Logan? Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce ICS.
I see.
Yeah.
In a lot of tastings lately, Gareth, we've had people commenting on the oiliness of Mac, which I find really, really weird, because it has been chill filtered. Normally, those type of whiskies are normally that little bit thinner. They run that little bit faster, but Mac does have a certain quality about it that does make it stick that little bit more to your mouth. Which I find
certainly good legs on the glass.
Now, guys, it normally goes.
I was going to say, guys, as we're going along tonight, be thinking about maybe what's your favourite. We're going to do a poll at the end. That's always good fun, because we normally have a fair idea where it's going to go. But it's interesting to see what your favourites are as you go along. So make a note of it. Keep scores in your head a little bit. But this one, very charming whiskey. I think it's accessible. It's very drinkable. It's got bags of flavour and very versatile. If it's sitting on your shelf, you can just have a slug, or you can just go, just going to make a nice cocktail with this and run with it. It's a great whiskey, Micky, isn't it?
Certainly is. People just mentioning there, it's quite sweet. Got some caramel-like characteristics to it. And that's quite right as well, because the casks that went into this were just American oak. So Virgin American oak casks took our new make spirit for about 5-6 years for the Mac. Some a little bit younger, some a little bit older, because we're in a position to have some older stock of this now. So just American oak.
Yeah, it's about 7 years, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's not had bourbon in it before or anything like that. So where you get the sweetness out of bourbon, we're getting that in this whiskey to a certain extent, because we're taking those lignins from the American oak that a bourbon would do. So those wood sugars, we're getting them straight away, not being diluted down by and being taken out by the bourbon. Do you know what I mean? So that's where those caramel. Yeah, that's where those like butterscotch caramel flavors come from on the palate.
Yeah. So again, we've got like
E158.
I was just going to say, Mick, we've got this used to be fairly young, 5 to 6 years. Now it's 7 and 8 years. All of this stock that we've got in there is kept in one room. In Micky mentioned it, a place called the Bodas Mine. Fascinating place. 300 meters underground, an old disused mine, and that they found as a storage warehouse. Great place. But room 7 is where they keep all of the stuff that goes to make the Mac inside there. So it's got a little bit of history there to go with it. Anyway, I'm just about at the end of my glass. I think it's time we moved on to another quintessentially Swedish offering with a great Swedish ingredient, which is that Swedish oak. Tell us all about it, Micky.
Yeah, probably the most quintessential Swedish dram that we do have, really. So next up, guys, we've got Svensk Ek. It looks like it's Svensk Ek, but put a Y in front of it and a bit of inflection in the end. Svensk Ek, that's how you pronounce it, and that stands for Swedish oak. So Svensk, Swedish, Ek, oak. 10% of the liquid that went in to make this up actually comes from virgin Swedish oak, guys. So all ex-bourbon casks, and then 10%, just for like 18 months, 10% of it went in. Yep, there you go on the box there. 10% of it went into virgin Swedish casks. So Swedish oak differs quite a bit to American oak, to general European oak, really, in the fact that it's got a lot less wood sugars. But I'll tell you I'll give you a wee history lesson on where Swedish oak, how it came about in its numbers that it's in now, and how we've come to get it. So around about when Gareth was just a little boy, about 1830.
I was a teenager then. What do you mean?
So I was going to say, sorry, mate, I couldn't resist that one. Around about 1830, just after the Napoleonic Wars, the Swedish crown sent out a delegation to search for the ideal spots to plant oak trees for future warship production. Because back then, obviously, we made our ships from wood. 3 of the emissaries come upon a small croft on Visingsö, which is a narrow island in the middle of Lake Vättern, which is Sweden's second largest lake. Here they spied 3 fantastic looking oak trees just outside a nobleman's farmhouse. They took one of the trees back to Stockholm, and it didn't take much really to convince the Swedish Royal Navy and the Swedish royal family that this thing, sir, pretty much had the perfect conditions for oak trees, really, to grow our oak trees for the future warship. So over the next 10 years, 300,000 trees were planted. 300,000. So, they were really going into it. They're chucking their all into it, really. But due to the climate being colder in the winter than it is in the UK, and warmer during the summer, but the lake's water surface always stayed pretty cold. The weather is quite dry most of the year, but the summer is quite wet. So this makes for quite a harsh environment, really, and that makes the trees grow quite slowly. So the Navy, obviously, as we know now, they were thinking quite ahead of their time, really, to supply itself with material to keep afloat well into the 20th century, where we find ourselves now, really. But by the time the trees were ready, like 150 years later, obviously the Swedish Royal Navy had no use, because a small thing happened in between them planting the trees and by the time they're ready. It's just a small thing called the Industrial Revolution, Gareth. Do you know what I mean?
Bit of steel, bit of metal going on.
Yeah. So obviously, as pretty much everybody knows, warships and big ships in general these days are not made from wood. So there was no use for it in shipbuilding, really. So what do you do with it? But let's talk about how they made it so straight. So Swedish oak is really very tall and really very, very straight. So what they did was they actually planted other species of trees in between the oaks, things like ash, beech, elm, maple, and silver fir. So what that did was made the oak basically grow straighter up to the sky to get more of the sun for all the nature stuff that it does. So today, the forest is 900 acres, and they're very, very tall and very, very straight. But like I said, there's no use in the shipbuilding game now for wood of that number, basically. So what do we do with it now? So there's flooring. So can you imagine? Getting nice big long wooden floor slats. That would be fantastic. What else do we get? We've got furniture. So there's obviously quite a famous Swedish furniture maker out there that pretty much everybody shopped in.
Okay.
They'll obviously make. You're right there, mate. Not a touch of COVID coming on for you.
Just a little cough there. Saunas. I bet they make saunas out of it as well, don't they?
Probably, yeah.
Fine?
So that would fit into like the sheds in the furniture. But obviously for us, it's ideal for making whiskey casks, basically. So there we go. There's one of our coopers there, putting together a 30-litre cask. So what does it? Yeah. So we've got not lots and lots. It actually takes quite a long time. So once the trees are cut down and made into staves, basically, it's then left outside to air dry for 2 years.
2 years.
Taking the moisture content down to about 10%, I believe. So what does that do for a new mixed spirit? Well, Swedish oak, like we've mentioned already, has a lot less wood sugars in it than American oak does. So that means a lot less of the sweet notes typically associated with American oak are not there. We have more spicy notes of like black pepper, white pepper, cardamom, nutmeg. There is a bit of a toffee-like sweetness there, but it's more like almonds and stuff like that. So it's a bit nuttier, a bit pepperier.
Yeah.
There are sweet notes in there, but not as many as you would associate with American oak. But the unique attributes of Swedish oak and American oak combined have become widely appreciated when featured in Mackmyra, especially in Svensk Ek, where, like we've said, 10% of the liquid in the bottle was finished in the virgin Swedish oak for a minimum of 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Yeah, that is quite a long story on Swedish oak, but it's one that fascinates the life out of me, quite frankly.
And what we've done, we've also dialed up the alcohol, haven't we? It's 46.1. This is more like the classic range of alcohol and the classic design of the bottle. This bottle, most of the bottles have got 8 dimples at the bottom here, which are meant to represent the 8 thumbs of the founding fathers, of the 8 guys who got together for that. But color coordinated and everything. But that 46.1 lifts the alcohol, and it also helps, I think, to express that little bit of pepperiness that comes through.
Yes.
On the nose, you don't quite get that. I think I get a little bit kind of like you say, a sweeter toffee kind of a note. But when you actually get on your tongue, you poof, you get that bit of alcohol, and you get that blast, a bit of chili peppery hotness that coats the tongue and excites. And I think it's quite different from our first two. It's got a bit of oomph behind it, hasn't it? And I think people either they like that kind of excitement on their tongue, or they go, oh, that's a bit strong for me. So if it is a bit strong, 46.1, put a little bit of water on it, a couple of drops. You drink your whiskey as you like it, not as we tell you. It's what's going in your glass and in your mouth, so it's your decision, everyone.
Definitely.
Yeah. Somebody's put a few drops of water in there, brought out the flavour. Let's see here. Put that on there.
Remember, guys, as well, try not to splash loads of water in, because you can always add more water, but you can't take it back out again once it's in the glass, okay? So just a few touches. If you've got a pipette, fantastic. Or a straw, or even just like a wee bottle lid, just to help you, just pour it a bit. Say if you're getting a jug or a bottle, just going like that, and sometimes maybe get a bit heavy. You get that. Job.
Well, everybody seemed to have a flavour about that one, a comment about it. It's getting good feedback, one way or the other, from people. Spicy kick.
That's better, I think. Nope.
Right. Am I back? I hope so. It seemed to disappear for a while. I'm here. I'm live. So I hope everybody can hear me. So yeah, the end of the egg, and it is a very divisive thing. It's a bit of a Marmite drink, actually. I think some people really like it. Some people think it's not quite my style. If you're into the lighter fruity ones, but a hefty kick on there. I can't see anybody else on the show, so I'm going to carry on. If Micky, if you're still there, I'm sorry, but I can't see you at the moment. But anyway, let's go. Expiry. So. We're now going to move on to the next whiskey, but instead of going for the last of the core, which would have been the Svensrup, which is because it's a smoky whiskey, what we're going to do is we're going to do the extra whiskey that we had in there first, which is the Jaktlycka. So there you go, the Jaktlycka. This is our latest, what we call our seasonal release. Now, seasonals are limited. Now sometimes they're about, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10, maybe even 15,000. So they last maybe about 18 months or so, and before they're all gone. And then when they're gone, and they're replaced by another. They come in really nice sort of packaging and really nice colours, etc. on the back of that. Again, these are 46.1. So let's get this one out. Are you back with us, Micky? I can see you there.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Was just having a problem with the sound there, so I didn't quite get what you said, but I'm sure everybody else did. The pictures that are coming up seem to flow along with a conversation of some sort. So we're on to Jaktlycka now, yeah.
Yeah. So we got a little video to show people about this. So Connor, why don't we roll the video on Jaktlycka and tell everybody a little bit about it?
No.
There's something absolutely magical about the Swedish forest. I love the treasures that I find just stepping out to my office, a few meters outside of the distillery. So Grythyttan Wine are a great partner to Mackmyra. We love their natural wines. The taste of this wine that gives the taste to the whiskey is subtle, soft, light fruitiness and fine spice. And it goes really well together with the aromatics of the Swedish whiskey. The Swedish innovative finish together with the Swedish oak, that is a perfect combination.
So there you go. So that lady, that's Angela D'Arizio. She's our master chef, for want of a better word. Takes all the ingredients and makes these wonderful whiskies. And this is one of the limited release ones that we call seasonal. Just to finish off, we've got one range above this, which is called the Moment. And sitting behind me, there's all these little black boxes. Now, these are very limited releases, which come in like, you know, low thousands of bottles only, and they literally come and go in a moment. They don't last very long at all. But so this is the kind of design that you get on pretty much all of our seasonal ones, with the names around the front there. Mick, you've got a whole line of them behind you there. I've got some on the floor over there at the back. And this is our latest one, and this one is around. It's autumnal. It's autumnal in colour. It's got a glorious gold colour on it, and it's inspired by the kind of going through the forest in the autumn time and browsing for those, berries and mushrooms and things. It's kind of inspired by that kind of feel, happy hunting is what the literal translation of Jaktlycka, I mean, believes, but in the sense of that you're foraging, looking for those kind of fruits of the season. And now, obviously, the color on this is just stupendous. I'm going to put it in my glass, and I have to say that people keep asking me what's my favorite whiskey, and it's always the one that's in my glass is the first answer. But it's Jaktlycka is outstanding for a release, and as Angela mentioned, it's a Grythyttan, a wine company that, and Angela collaborates with lots of different people to get a lot of the extra flavors and dimensions of flavor that she uses to create great whiskies with. And so Grythyttan create this wine, which is a combination of lingonberry and blueberries. I think it's mostly about 90% blueberry. Lingonberry is a very strong flavor, so about 10% lingonberry in there. And we season the barrels, and what that means is we fill the barrels up with this wine, and we leave it there for, I think it's 3 months, Mickey. And after that 3 months,
this one was a bit longer.
Was it in the seasoning?
Yeah, it was a bit longer.
I'm happy to understand that, because the flavors that translate into that are amazing. But the seasoning process means that we take barrels and we introduce a flavor into those barrels, another flavor, and then we introduce our whiskey to take that flavor. And this time we've introduced wines, and Swedish wines and German wines and other wines are quite a favorite of Angela's to use to capture other flavors, to give a hint of what we did. The last seasonal we did was a mixture of green tea barrels that had been seasoned with green tea liqueur, which was a fabulous concept. Anyway, Jaktlycka is what we're talking about tonight. Some people are saying, yeah, love the color on it. There it is. Oh, there's a grønte te, which is green tea, as Micky's just showing you there. But the nose on this is so vanilla. And I get raisins, sweet raisins off this, and quite a nice. Again, the pear comes through as normal, a bit like baked pear, almost like a sweet dessert. And I know some of our Swedish friends said this reminds them of like the Swedish desserts, which a lot of lingonberry goes into Swedish desserts, and so it's a flavour that their tongue really recognises as part of the core. Now the packaging, the colours that went with the packaging was really inspired by a guy called John Bauer, who's a very famous in Sweden anyway, a sort of illustrator. He does sort of mythical figures, and I think we've got some pictures of John's work, and just shows the kind of stuff that he does. So these mythical characters from the woods and the forest, and the colours that have gone into this design is reflected by some of his paintings. And I think there's a one with the forest where what we've got is the sunshine at the top coming through the branches down into the deep and into the green at the bottom. And that's what the bottle, the packaging is trying to reflect. And you know what? I love the fact that, you know, people take the time to put some design and effort into it. Don't just stick it in a box and try and sell it. It's a whole feeling, autumnal, the color, the visuals, the taste, the smell. It's an all-encompassing experience that Angela and the team are trying to put together for you in there. So what do we think about this? I mean, people, what's the nose like? I just get so rich and fruity. I get excited when I smell this. It reminds me of an old bubble gum in the old days called Juicy Fruit. The yellow Juicy Fruit from Wrigley's.
That's interesting.
Marshmallows, yes, yeah, the toasted marshmallow, straight and sticky, straight off the stick. That's a really good call from Martin there. That's good. That's good. I'm loving that. I'm going to taste it now. What do you got for this one, Mick?
Yeah, so I'm a massive fan of the Jaktlycka. It does remind me of autumn. So I call this. So we know lots of people, or lots of distillers, etc., have got their Christmas in their glass. For me, I call this my Halloween in the glass. And I don't mean that it's scary or anything like that, but a few people have come up with pumpkin spice and things like that as a tasting note, which is fine. But I'm thinking about it because of the time of the year. So if you think in between like Halloween, bonfire night, that sort of time, just as it's starting to get a bit crisper and colder, not quite freezing, but you know, you definitely need at least a smaller jacket on anyway.
Yeah.
But along with that smoky bit coming through, you're thinking of the bonfires and stuff like that. This, for me, if we were allowed to at the rugby at the moment, then this would be in the hit flask for the rugby, Gareth, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Just because of the time of the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't get enough of this one. And I think, is it 15,000 on this one, or was it 12? I can't remember. 15,000. And do you know what, guys? That won't last too long. Probably about a year, just over a year. And it's spread all across Europe, you know. It's not just us in the UK. Sweden is a massive market. Germany's a massive market. France, you know. Mackmyra's got quite a big footprint going on and growing really rapidly. So our limited editions are really becoming a lot more limited than they used to be, I think, purely because a lot more people are chasing them. But you know, wonderful, really wonderful whiskey. This one, it's just outstanding. The amount of flavour you can put into it, and the journey that she takes you on from the visuals through the nose, through the taste, and in the after. Now, if you're really enjoying this one, we've got a bit of a deal for you on this one later on, so just pay attention towards the end. We might have a little something to wet your palate with to go along with this one. But anyway, just on face value, Mick, I think this is just outstanding at the moment. It's the right whiskey at the right time. You know, it really suits the mood and suits the style for that autumnal coming into winter kind of feeling.
Definitely.
A nice blend of spice, but flavour as well, rich and oily. And, this one's not chill filtered, is it? Because it's over 46. So you get the full oils, the full Monty is in this one.
So apart from Mac and to a certain degree Brooks, all the rest of our whiskies are non-chill filtered and naturally and of natural colour. And just a great recipe that's put together. So hurrah to Angela, and well done to her. So I'm going to finish this off with Mickey, and now we're going to pass over to you to talk about a very serious topic, smoky. But first, before we get to the smoky, Gareth, I'm going to get everybody to jump up and go to the freezer. So if you want to go to the freezer and get yours, and when you come back, I'll dip to mine and get mine. So get to your freezer, guys.
You're going to get yours, Mickey. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with the guys here. You'll see in a lot of our bottlings and packagings, you'll see in various places this symbol on the top. Look at that, and it appears in various places on the boxes and on the on the lids. Now, I wonder if you know what that is, or can you have a guess? So, you know, flex your brains, have a go, have a guess, and let's see a bit of fun. See who can get closest to what that symbol on the top there is. And you know, you never know. We might give you a little prize whoever's closest at the end of there to do that. So I've got them lined up for the little symbol, Mickey. They're going to give us some of their interpretations of what the little symbol is.
Cool.
A few guesses on there, and let us know. So have you got your ice brooks?
We do indeed. I just finish off me. In fact, I'll grab another glass in a second. It's good having things to hand.
Yeah,
so
there we
guys,
go.
Hopefully you're all back. So if you missed what Gareth was saying, there's a wee symbol that we use. Well, it's the Mackmyra symbol. Basically, we'd like you to tell us what it is. There it is on the top of the bottle lid there. So what is it? What does that represent? Apart from Mackmyra, obviously.
A Viking helmet. I like the start of Jill. That's a good one.
That's a good start. I like it.
It's a good start.
So Gareth, do you need to go and get yours from the freezer, or you got yours with you?
Yeah, I've got mine over here somewhere.
Okay. So everybody should be back by now. Guys, you'll notice when you pour that one, it pours very, very differently
Oily.
to everything else that you've poured this evening. Obviously, we all know that alcohol doesn't freeze, but the water does. So that makes the liquid there. I think you can take. So that makes the liquid that much more viscous. Now, it's still okay. So that makes the liquid a lot more viscous. Also, what it does do is we all know that putting ice in our drinks and stuff like that tends to mute some of the flavors and profiles. Yeah. But the good thing with this, when you start off frozen, it's really refreshing. It's got a really good mouthfeel. And then as it warms through in your mouth, you get the flavors literally bursting through. Nordic Rune, that's another good one.
That's a good one. I don't think I've ever heard that guessed before.
No,
does
I
it?
think, when we did the Whiskey Exchange show, Gareth, I think somebody guessed on that one.
All right.
So just nosing the frozen brooks, you don't get a lot at all. You still get that pear drops bit coming through, just that little bit. It's definitely a lot thicker than glass. It fogs your glass.
Hey, Phil, glad you could join us back.
Yeah, good to see you.
We're just on the frozen brooks.
We're about 2/3 of the way through. I think we haven't lost them yet, Phil. I think they're still there.
Get in.
So, the symbol on the rocks of the coast near where the distillery is. So, Phil, we're getting your guys to have a guess of what this magic symbol is on the top of a lot of our bottles and a lot of our casks and things have this magic symbol. And it's the Mackmyra symbol. And we always have a bit of fun by getting people to try and guess what it is. So we've got a few good answers so far. A Viking helmet, a rune, and a
whiskey glass. Okay. That comes up quite a lot. When somebody says whiskey glass, that comes up. So just to let you all know, guys, as well, none of you are right so far. All right, so keep the guesses coming in. Some really good guesses coming in, but none of you are right. And does anybody have any thoughts on the frozen brooks, guys, as well? What do we think?
Somebody said they didn't prefer it cold.
Okay, no, and it's not for everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's not for everybody. So, Jill, don't drink any more of it. Let it warm through. Best way to do that is probably just hold it in your hand. You'll get it warm through a lot quicker. Or just leave it to the side and let it warm through at room temperature. But no, I really quite like Brooks out of the freezer. It's nice. It is refreshing. It's got a lovely mouthfeel to it. I'm glad I stumbled upon this, quite frankly. I'm not pretending to be the first person to put whiskey in the freezer.
Yes, Phil.
We've got a guy on, and he's struggling to be able to comment this evening. So it's Rod, and he would like to guess the logo, which it's either a legume berry or a Swedish oak leaf and acorn.
Oh, okay.
An acorn or a berry. Okay, that's very good guesses.
Two good guesses, both wrong, but two good guesses.
I will give a bit of a clue. It's not organic, so it's not anything living like a berry or anything like that. It's not organic. There you go, a bit of a hint. So anyway, one of the whole categories that we haven't talked about tonight, and which we're now going to come on to, is the whole category of making your whiskey smoky. Now, in the old days, right at the start, the guys wanted to know how to do this. So in their fledgling days in the 1999s and 2000s, they actually went across to Scotland to some of the very smoky distilleries, Lafroig for one, and they took the journey and started to learn about what made whiskey smoky. But they wanted to do something that was still Swedish. So, Mick, it's a great story. Tell them all about what went into Mackmyra to the Rook, which is our smoky whiskey.
Well, just quickly to say to Jill, you're probably the closest person yet. You're on the right track, sort of. You're the closest person yet, like ever, actually. So, guys, Mackmyra is one of the few distilleries in the world which malts its own smoky barley. Both malting and smoking take place in a facility. Read that shipping container that's located next to the distillery using Swedish-grown barley. Sorry, excuse me. Swedish-grown barley, Swedish peat, which is cut from the Karen Mossen or the Karen Bog, which is less than 50 kilometers from the distillery. And to add a further Swedish dimension to it, we actually put on top of the peat fire. So we've got a wee wooden fire. The peat sits on a grating above that. Then on top of the peat, when it starts to glow, we actually put twigs from the juniper bush.
There it is.
So the local power company. So there's the juniper. The local power company, while carrying out the regular maintenance around power lines and pylons, all that sort of good stuff, clear away juniper bushes. We use the juniper over to Mackmyra Brook, to the lab distillery for the gin, and we use the twigs basically on top of the peat fire to give it a really good Scandi twist, because obviously Scandinavians have been smoking food and fish and everything going back many years, probably since Gareth was a young boy, really. Maybe even longer, if that's at all possible.
You've used that joke. Forget it, Micky. You've used it already. They're getting bored. Move on.
Fantastic. So the smoking process actually takes place over 36 hours. The smoldering peat and juniper slowly release the flavors and infuse the bed of malt. Every 4 hours, the stove is refilled with fresh peat and juniper twigs. We've got Hakan at the smoker. Yeah, there he is. There's the main man, the smoking man. So the process of malting and smoking the barley takes around 12 days, and it requires constant maintenance and supervision. When the smoking is completed, the concentration of phenols of the malt, so pay attention, ppm geeks, we actually smoke to 60 ppm. Now, if anybody knows this exactly, Phil, that's face right there, exactly. So if anybody really knows their ppm levels, guys like your Freud and Ardbeg really only go to the early 50s. Yeah, late 40s, early 50s. So we take it above that. However, we don't use 100% peated malt for our smoky recipe. We only use around about a quarter, so just below a quarter, so about 23% of our smoked malt gets mixed in with our elegant malt. So 1,500 kilograms is a batch of malt, and when we do a smoked run, 350 kilograms of that 1,500 kilograms is our peated barley. So that obviously that's going to bring it down altogether. We don't know what the final ppm is because we don't measure post-production. I don't know many people that actually do. So the first smoker actually was actually in one of the founders' gardens. They set it up in one of the gardens.
Look at that.
So that was the second iteration. The first iteration had to be moved to that place that you're seeing on the screen right there, because in the first iteration, the neighbours complained that there was too much smoking of the smell and stuff like that as well. So they had to move it to one of the other founders' houses who had more of a coastline thing and not as many neighbours. So it didn't annoy as many people. Can you imagine that you're hanging your washing out and some guy's just got this big peat burner go just kicking up hundreds of smoking smell and everything like that. So that would be quite funny. So peated whiskey does divide opinion. You either love it or you hate it. Some people, not many people are on the fence with peated whiskey, really. But if you when you're in the audience and you're not a peat fan, please just try this first before you just totally write it off. Because I personally find, because we only use 23% of the smoked malt in there, and it's not a medicinal peat either. It's more of a floral peat, basically. Not quite the heaviness that you get in a Highland peat, but more of a floral peat from Sweden. It's a good introduction to peated whiskey. Basically, it's not a big punch in the face. The smoke rolls through, and And yeah, you know, you can take a drink of something else afterwards and get rid of the peat taste. Quite frankly, not like some of them that are out there that you
I
know, stay
always,
with you and you even taste
Mickey,
it the
I
next
always
morning.
liken it to being by a bonfire for the night. When if
Yeah.
you've ever slept out by a bonfire and you come in the morning, you can smell your clothes and your hair. That smoky flavour. And it's like bacon. It's like smoky bacon as well.
Yes.
It's like it's got that edge to it. It's not the acerbic peatiness that we associate with the West Island Lafroigs and Islay whiskies. It is smoky, like a smoked salmon or you know, something like that. And they only do maybe 2 or 3 smoke runs a year, and we have something that's quite unusual, because after the smoke run, the next run of the distillation just has a tiny smoky edge to it, where it's getting some of that smoke from in the pipes and everything like that. And we call that smoke trails. And Angela uses that as a part of her recipe to bring in just a hint of smoke when she wants just an essence of something. And one of the ones we had earlier where we said, oh, I think I can bring a bit of smoke in. I can just a little bit hint of that. That's the sort of thing you bring that in, that smoky essence. But oh yes, bacon all day long. Frazzles.
I had a quick sample of these last night, just to sit down and have a little sample of them. And a lot of people on here will know tonight that I'm quite fond of Port Charlotte.
Nice.
And
the Brook Laddie peated.
Yeah, but I love how mellow the peatiness and how smooth the peatiness it is on this. I was very, very, very impressed with it right through, and it is just such a really easy smokiness to bite through, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it is a very approachable peat, Phil. You know, Helen's not a big fan. John likes it, but Helen's not a big fan, unfortunately. There's Gareth away, but that's okay.
I thought we were losing both of you just before, actually.
yeah, no, yeah, it's going a bit mental tonight, honestly.
I start talking and we got rid of him.
just drags everybody down, Phil. You just drag everybody down, you know.
We'll enjoy ourselves, Mickey. It's fine, mate.
Oh dear. But I think I've lost some sound. No, I'm okay. So guys, yeah, please chime in. I know that Pete isn't for everybody. We've got Gareth back now, so that's good.
Sorry, guys.
So Pete, that's okay. So Pete isn't for everybody. Yeah, and I'm fully appreciative of that. Either try it over ice in a long ball with some ginger ale. Yeah, it's really nice, refreshing. You get a slight bit of smoke coming through the ginger ale, but it really takes that down quite a bit. I really enjoy that even in the summer. I do quite like some highballs in the summer, and a smoky whiskey with ginger ale with a twist of orange peel is right up my street, quite frankly. And Gareth, I quite like the Svenska look with our own tonic, so our creative
the tonic, yeah, surprisingly refreshing. It's a good summer drink as well, because you don't often put smoky drinks in summer drinks, and it's a real nice edge, because it's not peat, it's smoke, and that's what I think gives it that slightly edge. And we've made some great cocktails with that during the year because it pulls out a smoky flavour, and people very like that in their cocktails. So guys, we've done 5 drinks in about an hour and a half. What's been your favourite? Have a think about it. Have a think about that symbol as well. But, you know, we the presenters, we're always very lucky. And we're lucky because we get to do a 6th dram. Well, this 6th dram is something extra special. This is what we talk about when we have just a single cask. Now, I know we said we were recipe based, but you can get a single cask. So Phil and I are sitting with a cask of a sample of 7021, which is an elegant Oloroso cask. I don't think that's quite focusing there. Mick, you've got an elegant Oloroso as well, haven't you? I think it's
37244.
4.
Yeah.
Now
so
these,
mine's...
as Mick mentioned earlier, are 30-litre casks. And they take on the characteristic of the cask very quickly from the wood. So an Oloroso seasoned cask which then has the liquid inside it, and then pulls out all that flavour from it. So, Phil, you've actually bought a cask of this. So why don't you tell guys a little bit about the cask that you've bought?
So
we bought,
the pub here has bought a cask, and we're really excited to launch it tonight as our first cask release bottling. So I think we've got a picture of it, do we? Do we have a picture of the cask? There we go.
There it is.
There's your label.
So it's cask 1353. It's an ex Oloroso. It's made with the Elegant. So it was filled. The cask was filled back in 2010. So it's aged for 8 years and 8 months. It's available by the bottle now on the New Union website. There's only 42 bottles available for purchase. So it's our first cask release. We're really excited about it here at the pub. To be able to bring you something a little bit different. It's something that we've been able to want to do, and we've been working with people and looking at what we can do. And we think we're expecting it early next week, Monday, Tuesday next week, to arrive here at the pub. We've got that.
It actually came on the last ship from Sweden for this year, so it just got in time to get in here for Christmas. So it actually landed about a week and a half ago. It's been going through customs, getting its stamps and checks, and it's been released. And so it should be with you, the bottles, next week, Phil.
Yeah, so, please do have a look at it. It is very limited. It's something a little bit special. It's our first bottling, something that we can have in the bar that is ours as the New Union.
Absolutely.
You guys are going to have, tonight, you are the first people that have the opportunity to buy it. It's on the website now on www.thenewunion.co.uk under whiskey in the web shop. Most of you have been on there anyway because you bought your whiskey packs on there, which I just want to say thank you very, very much to the guys for being able to sort tonight and being able to be with us and try to keep our whiskey club going and keep it going virtually. We are hoping to have some more events like this online with a few others. So there is the link just at the bottom there. But the guys as well have been able to do a bit of a deal as well, I believe, tonight for people as well. So, it's been a great night. We've all really enjoyed it. You can watch it back as well. Do you want to store them in my garage, Phil? No, Dave.
Phil,
no.
I wouldn't trust a guy like that. He doesn't look very trustworthy, that Dave.
No. However, I'm sure Dave would love a cask of this just to aid some of his coffee in it. Because Dave is a coffee expert, and we've been aging some coffee for Burns nights for the last few years. So we need to have a chat. But honestly, please do, guys, have a look on the website. It comes in at $67.50, I think it's at. So it's just under £70. There's only 42 bottles going out there. So
46.5%, and that's after nearly 9 years. And I tell you, the Oloroso is superb coming through from this. I mean, they're all classic examples, but these are rare individuals to get an individual cask. You can buy your own cask, as Phil has done, but to be able to get a single bottle, I think it's a great way to kick off New Union and your first bottling, of your own whiskey with your own name on it. What a fabulous idea and a great design, Phil.
It's something special, so please do go and have a check out. Mean a lot to me to see if you go tonight and over the next few days. It's it'd just be incredible, and it's part of history. And if you're really lucky, I'll even sign the bottle.
So will that bring it down to about an even 50 quid then, Phil?
That's right, yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll fly out, Phil, and good luck with that. And if you can get your hands on one of them, it's a special item. The first one for a club, that's got to be worth hanging on to. I think maybe buy one and save one and keep it to one side for posterity.
Well, I'm sure Phil's keeping bottle number one for himself without questionable doubt.
Oh yes,
oh yes.
He's got that. But
yeah,
we're fortunate enough to be able to have this in our glass at the moment, and these are just absolutely superb. They are the real deal, coming out at cask strength. Nothing added, nothing taken away. This is just a single cask. This is nothing that Angela's done in terms of mixing or matching. This is just the pure real deal in the wood for so many years and there. So get it, grab it while you can.
I'm 8 years, 8 months, aged for ourselves. Thanks very much, guys. It's just something special that we can offer. And especially just remember, it's been great. If you can get onto the website, please do get on there. And if you want any packing or anything for a present or anything, it's Wacko Whiskey. That's it, Paul. There we go.
Rachel's got the right idea. I want one, but I want somebody else to pay for it. If you can do that, I'd definitely go for that route.
You want the laugh because her husband is just pouring a pint of Brava at the minute. I was working hard. Ivor was supposed to be off tonight with Rachel, but he's ended up working. So yeah,
brilliant.
Okay, well, thanks for letting us come in and do the tasting tonight, Phil. We've had great fun. Just want to wrap things up a little bit. 1 to 5 of the whiskies that we had. Now's your time to tell us what your favourite is. Put your hands up. Tell us which one you enjoyed the most. This is really interesting because we generally know where it's going to go, but just pop in on the comments. Let us know what your favourite one was. In the meantime, while you're doing that, we'll put you out of your misery for what this symbol is. Now, this symbol actually, it's
really?
Oh, what, do you want to keep them in suspense even longer?
Shall we let them know? Gareth? Do you know what I mean? There's only one person that's even come remotely close yet, and that was Jill, with the horseshoe and staple, with the horseshoe and nail.
Maybe, Mickey, when they invite us back, we'll tell them when we come back.
Potentially.
Well, anyway, I think we've got through all the questions that everybody's had. If you've got any more last questions, get them in quickly. If you want to know anything about it, I think we've covered all of those. We're doing the whiskey show of hands at the moment. Svensk. Dave says Svensk, but he didn't tell us what the second bit was.
so Dave, there's two Svensk. So Svensk has just been Swedish. So we've had Svensk Jaktlycka, which is Swedish oak, which was dram number 3. There you go, Sarah. Yeah, and
yes, Sarah's on egg.
Yeah, Svensk Rook, which was dram number.
Jason's on Rook.
5. So 3 and 5 are both.
Paul's on Mack or Rock.
But all great days. Yeah, but you got to have a favourite. Oh, Mack for Kath, nice.
Yeah, another Rook.
Mack.
Yeah, Rook always kind of just seems to get a little bit of a groundswell. I don't know because it's the last one, but yeah. I'm with Paul. Mack and Rook are probably the last two in my glass, and the things that stick in my mind for that. So we mentioned earlier, if you like the yak. And in fact, if you like any of these core ones, they're available on our web shop, mackmyra.co.uk. But we've got a special deal for you tonight. We've got a shop code, a discount code for you. So pay attention. Here it comes. If you buy a bottle of the Jaktlycka, and then if you do that, you'll get 30% off any of the other 4 of the core that you had tonight. So what you do is, there it is at the bottom, New Union. You put that in as the discount code right at the end, and that'll take 30% off that second bottle. So that's a great deal. If you like the yak and you like the Ek as well, or the Rook, then you can get both of them and get a third off that second bottle. Now, that's just for you guys at New Union. We've just set that up today. It's going to run for about 48 hours. And I would remind you, we've got one deal that's left open from our special Black Friday deals. The only one that's left open is the Explorer Pack. Now, that is just a wide range of everything we do at a stupid price. It is a stupid price. Go on the website and have a look at it. But believe me, it runs until midnight tomorrow, I think it is.
Midnight
it falls off. Is it tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, tonight. So
it's midnight tonight.
The Explorer Pack, is everything you've tried tonight. So you've got the 4 core range. So we've got Mack, Brooks, Svensk Jaktlycka, Svensk Rook. We've got Jaktlycka. We've also got both of our gins as well. So we've got our lab gin and our creator gin. And if that's not enough, we also chuck in a pack of 12 creator tonics and a baseball cap.
A baseball cap. Can't go wrong. Official Mackmyra baseball cap. So that's great. Mickey, what else are we doing? What are we up to generally as a brand? I know we get a lot of shows every week. We do a couple of live online shows. Tell the guys about that.
So, guys, if you've enjoyed tonight, we do 2 shows a week. We do a Wednesday evening show called Mackmyra Life, and I'll be on that one on Wednesday with the guys from Whiskey Nest, which are a new company startup, which should be quite interesting. Again, they're also they also purchased a ready cask as well that they're bottling. And on Fridays, we have our Mackmyra Inn. So earlier on this evening, I don't know if you saw it, at 6 o'clock on a Friday, we have a Mackmyra Inn just around your working week off. Come along, have some
Chat in the pub. Chat in the
yeah,
pub.
basically, yeah, it's that Friday chat in the pub feel that we're going for. We've had a couple of guests so far as well. So we aim to have a guest in every week and just chat stuff. Doesn't always have to be whiskey. We just chat some stuff. Next Friday, we've got my tailor in next Friday, actually. So that should be quite good. So somebody that doesn't come from the world of whiskey per se. So that should be quite an interesting chat. So Wednesdays and Fridays, guys, Mackmyra Life on the Wednesday and the Mackmyra Inn on the Friday.
Just to confirm back, I've had a whisper in my ear that actually it's been extended till 9 o'clock tomorrow night on Saturday, 9 p.m, the deal for the Explorer Pack. So that's late breaking news. If you want to get a hold of that, you've got about 24 hours to get a hold of that. Phil, once again, thanks for the opportunity. What are your plans for 2021 for New Union? What's going on down there?
2021, hopefully get back as we get going again, be able to by the end of wait and see what happens with vaccination and stuff, and be able to go hopefully be able to bring the whiskey nights back, hopefully bring the beer festivals, and working a bit more with the online shop side of it, welcoming you guys on board, which has been part of tonight, and starting to be able to sell some bits and pieces online with you guys. And yeah, we'll wait in and see what happens and see what we can do. I'd love to see a whiskey festival here, which would be great to start with, and stuff like that next year. And because we've not got one down here, it's one of those bleak parts that keeps on getting forgotten. And there is a venue, and love to talk to you guys about it. And bring a few other bits and pieces together and see what we could start. But thanks.
We'd love to support you in that, Phil, every step of the way. It's a great initiative you've got up there, and we'll be behind you every step of the way for that one for 2021. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and just thank you very much for being with us tonight. The members have enjoyed it. There is a few who haven't joined us tonight because, as they said, they'd rather be in here having a crack with you. We all would love that. But at the minute, this is the best we've got, and this is what we'll do, and make sure that everyone's safe. But it's been great. Once again, we've just sold one of the bottles of the single cask already.
Awesome.
If you do go on there, have a look. It's $67.50. It's not the cheapest bottle for a fit, but it is a single cask.
It's a piece of history.
It's one of a kind.
It's the history.
It's one of a kind.
And there's only one time that we can launch a single casking, so this is it. So thanks very much. Thanks very much as well. It looks like everybody's been really commenting and everything, which is great to see.
Really interactive. A good crowd you've got there who's coming on. So I'm sure, I wish you every success for next year. I'm sure it'll be great. I'd like to thank my co-host Micky and you, Phil, obviously for doing it. I'd like to thank Connor in the background, who's been doing our tech and doing all the videos and stuff. Thanks, Connor, to do that. Everybody who's joined us on the chat tonight, thanks for all your comments. Been great fun, great interaction. Have a fabulous Christmas, a great New Year. And in Sweden, we have something that we say equivalent to cheers. It's skål or skål. And so see you again. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.
Take care. Stay safe.
Cheers, guys. Good night.